Hey, how's it all going out there again in YouTube land? And yeah, just out here in the outdoor office and getting prepared for another episode of the old folding knife, as it were. If you're following along with the channel and the progress of the old what's become the folding knife saga, you'll know what we're up to. If you're not and you're new, you'll know that I've just made some patterns and so forth and so on, and just trying to get my processes a little bit better and a little bit more sorted to make things a little bit quicker. So I've made some patterns, and you might have seen me harden and temper those, you might not have. And in the last one, we did the blade, did the spring, and got that sorted out. So for this episode, and we're going to progress a little bit further. I've done a bit of dumpster diving and found some brass for the liners, and that's what we're going to work on. And hopefully, unless this video becomes too long, we'll be able to get one at least assembled and have a look at the design and see if we're happy with it, and we'll proceed with that further and just keep going. Yeah, getting our processes better. There's always room for improvement, and it's all learning. And yeah, really loving the process, and I hope you are too. So without too much more jibber jabber, let's get stuck into it. Let's get going, and yeah, let's have a close up of what's going on, and we'll move on. So if you've been following along, you know where we're up to, sort of thing. If you haven't been following along, then that's what we're sort of doing. I'm trying to make my folding knife processes and get them a bit refined and get them a little bit easier and quicker and all the rest of it. So ultimately what I'm trying to do is take this here and make this here something similar to that one there. So what I got is my hardened and tempered patterns here I use for a file guide with that sort of thing there. I've got the ends of it pretty much how I want it and the rough shaping done. A little bit of polishing left to do, but we'll get onto that. That's no big deal. So what I said or didn't say is now I'm going to work on the liners here. So originally I was using stainless steel liners and similar to that sort of thing there, but now I'm going to try something a little different. Done a bit of dumpster diving and found these old offcuts of brass that were getting chucked out. So I think they're about 2 mil thick, but I'm not worried about that at the minute. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark that there, drill a hole, and try and get the most out of this stuff as I can. Mark out a liner, and we'll move from there and see how we go. Second thoughts, I don't know, there's quite a curve in here, which I didn't really anticipate. That one's a bit flatter, but I've kinked that blade up there. But anyway, we'll move forward with what we got, get some holes in it, get some spring tension sort of sorted out, and yeah, see how far we get with that one. So yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Alrighty, so we're moving on, and I've roughed out the old brass liners here. Got one there, got this one here. So what I'm doing now is I'm just positioning the spring on here with the blade, which is looks pretty simple, but it's not that easy to do, to be fair. I've got to get these holes exactly where I want them. So I've clamped that on as hard as I can, got this on here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drill this hole here, and that should hold that exactly where it's got to go. This hole there, what I'm going to do once that one's sorted and worked out and everything's right, I'm going to pin it, and then this one here, I'm going to bring it down just probably about 1 millimeter at the most, probably not that far. And what it means is when you assemble the blade or the knife, you have to push this down, and it puts tension on here. I'm still don't know if I'm happy with this curve, but we're going to run with it and see what we come out, see how the design goes. So for hooking in the fastening here, what I've got is a bit of tube over there in the shot, and it's a 6mm tube, I think, and I just tap that out with a 5mm, put that in, but I haven't got that in there yet. So what I've got is a countersunk bolt, set screw, whatever you want to call them, and I clamp that through there, and that should pull that into the center of this liner. So from there, what we're going to do, we're going to drill that hole there, and then get that one right, and then I'm going to match drill through onto this liner here. I think that's what we're going to do, and then I'm going to shape it up to how I want it, and get a nice comfortable thing. When you're putting it together and taking it apart and doing all that with your two liners, I think what you need to do is actually put both liners on. Don't do it with just one. The other thing to remember, this spring isn't hardened yet, so with all the tweaking and doing around, it can move a little bit. It's still quite soft, and that's in the annealed state, but we'll worry about that later. So that's what we'll do. So from there, we'll move on, drill that and shape that up and see how we go with that. All right, let's go. So I got that hole drilled, stuck a pin in there, and what I've also done is taken the old Vivid and put some reference marks around here, because now what I need to do, take that off, just have a quick look here. Yeah, it's a bit tight, but yeah. So it's not bad on that line. Yeah, it's not too bad. May need a bit more filing and polishing and whatever else, but yeah, that's going to work. So that's all good. But what I do need to do naturally is take that point and just bring it down a little bit, drill that hole in there. Then I'll match drill that to the other one. And what I'll also do is make a pattern of that, because I've got quite a few of these that I've been working on, and it's always a bit tricky to get this 100% right. So I'll get my old magnifying glasses out, I'll drill that hole there, I'll match drill those, and we'll be at a point where we can give it a bit of a fit up, yeah? I'll give it a bit of elephant glue on here, glue it together, give it a bit of a clamp up. I don't know if it's really necessary to do all that, but when I match drill these, I really don't want them to move. Sometimes the drills will slide around, wobble a bit and do all the rest of it. So I'll just glue that on there, do as much as we can. Hopefully it's right. Yeah, it looks not too bad. Cool. Get that hardened, and then we'll come back and drill it. Nice. Right, so that's what we're up to now. I've even marked around there the way I'm going to shape it yet. I've got some holes in here, as you've seen. And so now I'm going to work on this little piece here, this little bit of 6mm that I use and I do. And what I need it to do, I've set my verniers over there just a wee bit thicker than that blade. So 6mm in there. So the tube will go there with fasteners. So 5mm holes in there for a 5mm fastener. And that'll go on, or that one won't go on because it still needs a bit of a sand. But anyway, get the other one. That'll go there. And that fits onto there, so just a wee bit wider, and so the liners will hold down fast on that and just give enough clearance there for that to do what it's got to do. In time, I might figure out a way of putting bearings in there as people do, but yeah, it's another thing. So what I do now is I take my little piece there, if you can see it, and I put it into this, put it into the bottom with a bolt, hold that down, and give it a sand just to get it exactly the right height. So that's what we're going to do, fix that up there, get that ready to go in there, then we'll make some fasteners, improvise whatever we've got to do with that. I'll give that a shape on the 2x72 and we'll put it together, yeah? So pin in the back, and when you put that centre pin, that one there in, don't know if these holes are 100% right, but yeah, we'll see when we come to it. You get a tapered pin, that one's a bit beaten up and busted, but that'll pull that down as it should. Few options with the spring. If the tension's too tight, I can take a bit more out of here with the file before I harden and temper it. And if I don't like the curve in it, which I'm not sure about yet, but we'll go with it, I can put it in the vise and just straighten that out a little bit. As long as I maintain this all as it is, I don't want to change that, because that's the crux of it. So far that's all good. That'll fit on there, and like I say, I'm going to go with that curve. Don't know if I like it or not, but we'll see when I get it finished and use it and see how she goes. All good. Let's move on. So there we are, ready for the first fit up. Try and reach around the camera so you can get in close enough to see it. So my little spacer in there, that's a second spacer I made because the other one's on the floor. So if you see that lying around somewhere, I'll drop that. Let me know in the comments. So for the minute, I've just got a bolt in there. Do that up. Good enough. Put that in there like so. That'll go on there. And that's just slightly thicker than the blade. So I'll put that onto there. It's all prototyping, as you know. The nut on there. And so far so good, so they can still slide and move around. Then I've got a pin made up for the back. Get that one into there. Now if the tension, like I said before, maybe if the tension's not 100% right, I can take a little bit out of here, or I can flex that up in the vise or whatever I need to do. But for now, we're just doing an initial fit up. Am I in there? I think so. Get that there. If that'll go through, a few burrs and stuff still needing to be removed. Nice, that's in. Now for the centre one, get it almost where we got to go. What's happening? That's right. And you can see I've tapered up a pin here, and that should hopefully go through there and line it up. So I'll just go and give that a knock with a hammer and see how we go with that. Bear with me. Can't find it. There it is. So I'm back at you. There we go there. So you can see that tapered pin's pulled it in. All this needs refining. So far, yeah, I was a bit worried about that curve, but I don't know as I'm going. It's not too bad. There needs a bit of adjustment there, and we'll come up with an idea for that. So far, so good. The first initial fit. I think that's because it all comes apart. I'll have to have a look in there. Half stop. Lock it in. I think I'm loose in here, not sure. But yeah, so there's a wee bit of room for tweaking, a wee bit of room for moving it around. But as the first initial fit up, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So I can shape all that off to get it closer there, and I can refine this on the 2x72 because I don't need it sticking out that far. So that being said, we'll move on. Let's go. Okay, so here's what's happening now. Every time I fit that and try it and fit it and try it, because that spring up there, if you can see it, is in the annealed state, it stretches and flexes and does all the rest of it. So I'm going to harden and temper it now so we can put it in, and it'll hopefully stabilise it and make it sit where it's got to go. So we'll fire up the forge, we'll harden it, put it in the tempering oven, and then we'll work on the blade. Yep, let's try that. Make sure this works. Nice, hopefully. So we'll skate a file, make sure it's hardened, and we'll chuck her in tempering oven. So if you're following along with the channel and whatever else, you would have seen me do this a few times. Just putting it in there. Don't want this mega hard. I want it to be like a spring. So we'll go a little bit harder than what we do the blade. So we'll have to do this separately to the blade. Yeah, not harder at all. A little bit more temper, so it's more like a spring and not as hard. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, let's do that. Put it in there for an hour. Pardon me, take it out, put it in for another hour. All good. Right, what you're looking at there is a little tool I made up to put in the old Bosch PPD 40. And I'm going to attempt, it's only the second one I've ever done, to put in a nail notch in that blade. If you can see that, she's a little bit dark in here today, but give it a go. So we've got a variable speed up here, turn it up pretty tight. And I've got it marked up there. So we'll give it a burst and try and get a nail notch in it. Hopefully don't cut our fingers off. Here goes. Oh, too far. Not perfect, but we'll go with that. We'll have a look at it, eh? See what we've got going on. So that's my nail notch. If you can see that close enough, there we go. So that's the first one I did, which I'm pretty happy with. That's the one I just did then. So lessons learned, don't stick a great big heavy light on top of your drill because things went a bit wrong. Apart from that, yeah, the concept's good. I'm happy with the way it sort of worked out. From there to there is really good. I scraped down the side, as you can see, and I wasn't really looking. I was rushing. So a few lessons learned there, but the concept's good, and this is just a prototype, so we're going to go with it. And so far, so good. It's all good and going well. Of course, we're going to put a bevel in there, so I might take some of that out. I don't know. As long as that's left in, we'll give it a bit of a whatever. So that's all cool. We'll just run with that for now, and that's it. So like I say, the concept's good, so I'm happy with that. Next time, yeah, I'll get a bit better. But that's all cool. Rightio, so I'm just going to harden that blade up now. And we've got a bit more shaping to do on the liners and so forth. But yeah, we're nearly there. We're nearly ready for a sort of fit up to test our process and see if anything's going good. So yeah, that's all good. Just harden this up, give it a temper, and like I said, then we'll be ready for fitting in. So let's go. Let's get it on first. All right, that's that done. Rattle gunned it down and she's all good. Rightio, so here's the update. This is what we're up to, and we're probably just about going as far as we're going to go, and I'll explain why right now. So I've done the blade, little bit of a mess on there, but never mind, it's all good. Hardened that up, that's all cool. Done the spring and hardened it up. However, what I did do, we bring that into the middle of the thing, and bear in mind that this was just about patterns. That's what I'm testing and seeing if I can get them to work. So that spring was looking not too bad until, yeah, that happened. Yep. Oh, she's a bit magnetic, but never mind. I think I either over hardened it, but what I think I did, I was a little bit nervous of the blade coming around and hitting in here, and you can probably see or not see there that there's quite a bit more thickness there. I've gone a bit overzealous with that, and I thought I was at the time, trying to get attention. Like I say, I should take it out of here. However, like I said, this video was about patterns, so that one's a fail. But what I can do, and what you will see, is if I take that there, this here being the pattern of the spring. And I was going to test her out and just show you. In mind, I can put the blade that I've made with it on there. I can pin that little there. Come on, get in there, get in there. Yep, there we are. And you can see that that is going to actually fit. So put that onto there, like so. Screw that down there. I've done a little bit of shaping on the liners. Get on there. There we go. No, we don't. Yes, we do. So screw that on. So that part's worked good. The blades worked all right. Apart from the nail notch, that needs work. Yeah, that's just enough movement. There's not very little sideways movement. And this pin hole, you can see there, my tapered pin. So bear with me for another second, and I'll go and stick that one in. Oh, so I'm back at you now again. So you can see that there. That needs more refining off the top edge, which I'm not going to bother with now. I'm going to make another spring over time. Not now though. I'm going to call this, do an outro and call this one the end. But yeah, apart from that, I'm pretty happy with it. I can take that and make a pattern, so I can easily make another one of those. If I do that there, and obviously you can see close enough, but yeah, it's the same distance off. I've just been checking it, do that there, and it's nice and tight. So spring tension is exactly where I want it. It's, of course, like I said, there's a bit more refining, and so that's worked pretty good. I'm happy with that. So yeah, we'll do a little outro. We'll call that a day. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with my patterns, the way they worked out. Albeit I went a bit zealous. But like I said, it's all learning, yeah. I won't do that again, so that's all good. And I'll give it a bit more of a temper again. Take a bit more care in the old oven and don't rush things so much, yeah. Rightio. So there we go. We'll bring this one to an end, yeah. Do a little outro. What I was setting out to achieve, as you already know, is I was trying to see if I could get my patterns working, processes a little bit better. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a fail. The old spring broke, and grains look good, so I don't think I overcooked it or whatever. Yeah, it took a little bit more out of there than I should have. I sort of knew I was doing it at the time, but anyway, you try things and you see. Am I confident that the spring will still be all right? Yeah, because I've done it here. This one is pretty good. That old blade's had a thrashing, and yeah, never had a problem with that one, never broke. And this little river find one here, that one is tight as a tight thing, and never had a problem with that either. So what I do, or what I am quite happy with, is there's a lot more refinement and scales to put on, all the rest of it for another day. But that part there has worked out really good in the half stop. And there's still a lot of burrs on there, some polishing needs to be done. And you can't quite see that in the focus, but that's exactly the same distance. And also in the closed position, it's pretty close. And that's what I was trying to achieve. So I'm pretty confident that I can get to that stage in a day now, even with the tempering. Or maybe, you know, a little bit longer if you take tempering into it. But that was taking me about a week or 3-4 days to get to that with all the filing, checking. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with my pattern so far. Not so happy with the broken spring, but so yeah, good. Got a pattern here for the blade, and I'm happy with that. I've got a pattern, or it's in there, as you know, so that's pretty good. And I made myself up a pattern for my liners. So like I say, that's improved the process, and it's all pretty cool. So in time, I may scan those into a computer and offer up the drawings, but it'll be a wee way down the track, yeah. When I get 500 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers, I might look into doing that. We're not going to afford to get to upgrade my gear. But that's for another day. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. You're thinking of making a folding knife. There's a little bit of work in it. It's quite tricky, but you can get there, yeah. And I'm quite, I was worried about that curve, as I've said, all through, but I think it'll be all right, yeah. I'll be quite happy with that. It's all good. Handles what I make always seem to be a little bit long for the blade, but I think that's just folding knives, yeah. And I'll work on all those little bits and pieces as time goes on. So yeah, I may finish that. I've still got to put a handle on my bread knife, which I haven't done, and I've got a lot of other projects on the go. So until we get back to it, I hope this video's found you safe and well, and everybody's happy, and yeah, have a go at a folding knife. Thanks for watching.